everyone, welcome back to my channel Web Coding with Ankur. Today we are diving into an essential concept in React.js, props in class component. If you are new to React or looking to brush up your skills, this video is perfect for you. So let's get started. Before moving to the topic of today's video, I like to say that I have made a video on states in class component. If you have not seen that video, please click on the above link to get to that video. So today's topic was props in class component. Let's get started. Now, as you know that today video topic was understanding props in class component. So, first of all, we discuss what are props. Prop, short for properties, are the way to pass data from one component to another in React. They are used to pass information from a parent component to a child component, making our component more dynamic and reusable. Think of prop as an input to a function in JavaScript. Now, let's discuss that why use props. Props are incredibly powerful because they allow you to create flexible and modular component. With props, you can control how a component behaves and what it displays, all from the parent component. The data transfer from parent to child component is with the help of props. That's why we have to use the props. If the information are required by the child component from the parent, then the information can be transferred from the parent to the child using the props. Now, let's talk about the topic how we define props in component. So here you can see that I have a greeting component. I have declared a greeting component, and here you can see a two parameter, one for the name and second for the age. Here I have given my greeting area component. I have passed two values. Name is equal to John and age is equal to 50. Now in this above example, we have greeting component and we are declaring the props and passing the data to the greeting component. This is how you can define the props in your component in which you wish to transfer that value from parent to child. Now, if we move on to our new slide, then we can see how we can access that props once we pass the prop in a given component. Now, in the previous slide, you can see that in the greeting component, I have passed the name and age. Now, if that props has been passed to the greeting component, now inside the greeting component, we can see here that we have passed the name and age. Now we can copy. Now we can able to access that particular props in the greeting component. Now here you can see that we have a constant. We destructure these props. We can access the props with the help of this dot props in the class component, and we can destructure the props using name and age. We can destructure this name and age. After that, inside return statement, we can display the user detail. Inside this, we have name and age, and we can display name and age, and it will show the output like displaying the username and the details of this. Now we can move to our new slide that in which how we can define the default props. I can show you the default how we can define the default one, but for example, I will just giving a small example that how we can declare default props inside the class component. If you don't want to if you define by default, then here you can see we can define static is equal to default props, and inside name we can give web coding with Ankur. After that, we have a render method, and after that, inside return statement which can return the HTML plus JavaScript object means JSX content. So here you can see that hello and this dot props dot name. This is how you can access this particular variable of this dot props dot name. Now we can move on to our new thing. Now here you can see that we are come to our coding session. In this, we can build an interactive example of using props in class component. In this example, I shall define how we can define the default props in your class component, and and we can create a separate component and passing the value from the parent to child through props. So let's move on to our Visual Studio Code so that we can work together to build a class component. Here you can see the default page of my application on which we are start building the class component with the props functionality in it. So let's move on to our Visual Studio Code. So in Visual Studio Code, here you can see we have a class component extending the base React class component, and inside that we have a render method, and we have this type of text which we already seen in the home page. Okay, now let's start building. First of all, I want to show you how you can define the default value of props inside your base class or inside your app component. So let's get it started. So first of all, we can create a static, and we can use default props, and inside this object we can keep at a name and web coding with Ankur as we seen in the slide. Web coding with Ankur. Now here, this is how you can display the static is the keyword which is used to which can access the instance of a class without with their instance can access this particular variable without the creating object of it. Okay, so this is why we have used static and default property for the name object, and inside this we have name and web coding. Let's start accessing this particular prop. Then we can type his name, and or we can give him a curly braces this dot props dot default props. Okay, now default props, this dot default props, not props, and because we have an object, and after that we can give a name. So let's see what we see on the home page. So we move on to our home page, and we can see F12 property of undefined. This dot props static default props, this dot props dot default name, this dot props name, not default name, props name. This is how you can display that web coding with Ankur has been shown in you with name of web coding with Ankur. Okay, this is how you define your default property in your class component within a class component so that you can access the default value of the props. Now I have already shown you how you define the default props. Now here we can default props defining default props in class component. Okay, now we're going to start create a new component same as greetings, which we shown in the example. So let's create a example of greetings, and we can create class greetings extends component and we can create this, and inside this we have a random method. Inside that we have return statement, and we can display user information. We can type at user information. Okay, here we can display name and age of a particular value which will pass. So first of all we move on to our page. So we can give a br to this, and inside this we can give a br. Now we can give we'll load the greeting component in our class component. So first of all, I don't like export this particular component, default greetings. Okay, say now we can able to load in the app component. So greetings, and we can save this. Okay, now here we can able to pass this particular value to our property. So how we can do that? We can say name is equal to John. We can pass in a string as a John name is or using string, and age should be 50. Okay, now we are passing two properties in from the parent, which is here was app, and passing the property to greetings component. Let's see. Now we go on to the greetings page and let capture this value. So here now how we are able to capture this value? So we can enter the random method. We can copy this and we can destructuring with the help of name and age. As we know that we are passing name and age to the component. So in this we can add this dot props. Then if you want to just know how we can display, you can display the value how which props you are receiving. So you can control this dot props and see on the control peaks. Okay, here is user information. Let app inspect this particular value. Here you can see you are passing an object. You are it's age 50 and name is John. So you are getting this particular object. Now you destructuring this with name and age on at your side. Now if you able to display this particular value, so in this you have to type this name, and after that you copy this particular thing, and so that we are able to display the age of the user info. So in this we can display the age. We can type it here age, and we can also type it age. Okay, now we can save this particular format. So we can first of all format this document. So now this is so. Now let's see what we are getting on the home page. Here you can see that we are getting this dot name age of greetings 5, which we are controlling in the console these dot props which we are receiving, and here you can see name and age we are getting. So in order to access these particular props, you will be destructing this value name and age. So this dot props name and age. So here you can see the name is John and age is 50, which you are getting from the app component, which is the parent component of the greeting component. Okay, this is how you can this is how you can pass the property from one component to another in the class component. I hope you are able to understand how we can pass this particular value from one component to another. Now here you can see that we are reached to our last part of our video, that was the conclusion. Here I have listed some of the points which we discussed in the video are as follows. First of all, we are overview, see what is the props in the class component, and after that we have see why we use props in class component. Then we discussed that how we can define the props in class component. After that we can access prop within a component. I show you how we can access that property with the help of these dot props and the property name. Then after that we can also show you how we can display the default props in class component. I hope you a quick review of how to use props in class component React.js. Props are a fundamental part of React, and mastering them will make your component more dynamic and reusable. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more React tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.